So a life goal has been achieved with installing the BendPak 10 APX lift, and it's leaking a little bit. So in today's episode, we're gonna fix the fitting that we didn't tighten all the way and stop it from leaking. And then we're also gonna give you a little overview of the new lighting in the garage. Let's get to it. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Detached Garage. If you've watched a past episode, we achieved a huge life goal of getting this BendPak 10 APX lift installed. The unfortunate thing is I came out 2 days later and there was a small puddle around this pillar over here. So I did a little bit of investigation. I'll put up on the screen right now a little bit of a time-lapse video that I set up to try and figure out which fitting was leaking. Was it the 90-degree going in, or was it the fitting that screws actually into the cylinder? And unfortunately, it was the one that screws into the cylinder, so we couldn't just crank that 90 down a little bit more. So I've kind of pumped the cylinder up. I've shimmed it off of the bottom of the post. And so we're gonna disconnect some lines. We're gonna get a little bit messy today. And we're gonna try and figure out whether we just need to turn it a little more, or if we need to pull it off, put some more sealant on it, and then get it threaded back in correctly. So let's go over to the lift and figure out a plan for getting this done. So the lighting is done. It is such an incredible workspace in here. This is full brightness. We will get to some of those numbers at the end of the episode, so make sure you stick around. But today, the big thing we're gonna be working on is trying to get this very, very slow hydraulic leak fixed. You can see it did leak onto the concrete a little bit, but the majority of it was just here on the bottom of the post here. So just a little leak onto the concrete, nothing too bad. So I've got some paper towel stuffed in there right now. But basically what we're gonna try and do is, if you can see, we have two fittings. We've got this 90-degree, and then we've got the one that actually threads into the cylinder here. And it is the connection between, that you can see in there, that is the one that is actually leaking. So we had to shim the cylinder up off of the bottom of the post, so we can actually spin this fitting because it is kind of this 90-degree configuration. Otherwise, this bottom portion would hit the post down here. So we've got a bunch of pig mats. We've got some paper towel. I'm probably gonna bring the vacuum over here as well. And the whole reason for that is this hose goes all the way up and all the way over to the other side. And so as soon as we take this 90-degree fitting off, there will be some leakage. And because we needed to get the lift up a little bit, so we could shim this and get in here on the other side of the post, the cylinder is full of fluid up in this portion of it. So it's not completely full because, you know, we're only to the first safety stop here, but there's still quite a bit of fluid in the cylinder, and hopefully that has leaked out over the past week, and very slowly. And yeah, so we are going to try and make as little of a mess as possible, but some mess is inevitable here. So let's get some pig mats in place. Let's get the vacuum over here, and then we will start trying to take these fittings off and make as little mess as possible. All right, guys, so we have the 90-degree fitting off. We're letting some hydraulic fluid drain out of there. I was gonna try and just do this quickly so we lost as little hydraulic fluid as possible, but with how tight this space is, it's just not really possible to get in there with the pig mats and do it. It probably is possible, but I just want to get all the hydraulic fluid out of this vertical line and then get to it after that. So the biggest challenge is getting in there. And so, I can get an 18 mil wrench on this brass fitting here, but turning it is the big issue because there's not a lot of space once you get on this side. If we go around to the other side of the column here, there's much better access from this side, but it's still very, very tight. So what I'm thinking is we're gonna have to get the channel locks on it from this side, reach around this pillar, and again, this is on the safety locks. There's no pressure on this. This is 100% mechanically held by the safety locks right now. So we've got the shims underneath the cylinder. So I am going to try to get in here with the channel locks once this drains a little more, and then be able to torque it and try to tighten it first. If it doesn't seem loose, we're just gonna back it out. We're gonna seal it, and we're gonna put it back in. These pig mats are an absolute lifesaver, though. They are super absorbent. They're, this multi-layer, almost like denim material, but then I think they have some like super absorbent powder in them that, expands as they get wet. So really taken the hydraulic fluid very well. We've only really gone through a few of them, so hopefully we won't go through this whole stack, but this line is draining pretty slowly. I've even pushed the release to try to get it to drain a little faster. It does come out a little faster, but not quite as fast as I'd like to see. So. All right, so here's the deal, here's the story. We were able to rotate the fitting about 180 degrees. Now, the challenge is the 90-degree fitting that goes in on this hose here. If we go around, basically, this hose will not go the direction we need it to. So it really wants to be, sideways like this, but it does not want to spin this way to leave this fitting in this direction. So I really don't want to fish this whole thing up, and I honestly don't know if a half turn is really going to do what we need this to do here. So what I'm thinking is the best solution is probably just to back this fitting out, restart it, rethread it, get some good sealant on it, possibly even some Teflon tape on it. Shouldn't really need it, but in this case, I really don't want this to leak again. And so let's clean up some of the oil that's still leaking slowly out of here. Let's get this fitting completely backed out, and then we will work on getting that fitting reinstalled with some Teflon tape on it. All right, guys, so we have all of the oil cleaned up in there. I'm probably gonna use some all-purpose cleaner, but any puddle is gone. So we've got the Teflon tape that you can probably see on that fitting back there. We've got the 90-degree fitting tightened down. There is no leakage at all right now. So what I am going to do now is I'm going to fill the tank back up a little bit. It didn't get too low. I think we only lost probably maybe like a half gallon or so, but we're gonna fill the tank. And then once we fill the tank, we will cycle this again, get all of the air out of the system that we let into the system, and then we will also look for any leaks over here or anywhere else in the system. One thing to remember before you do start working, make sure you have your hydraulic hose back secured in this little tab here. So it's got a slight kink and bend to it, but it is still fairly tight up against the back here. So I do not believe this trolley is gonna rub on it at all. All right, guys, so I believe we've done it. I've cleaned up as much of the hydraulic fluid as I could from here. It's still a little shiny, but I'm just gonna leave it like that for now. I've got the lift in a raised position and I've got it resting on the first safety stop. So I'm going to lift it just a little bit and then bring it down. Oh, we hit the second safety stop, so I'm gonna raise it a little bit. So it is off the safety stop now. So there is basically pressure in the cylinder. And so what should happen is if there is a leak, it should find its way down and then down here, if the leak is still down here, and then these will slowly settle onto the second set of safety stops. So we'll come back out, we'll check this in the morning and see what happens. We'll just clean up a little bit here, but I think we got this thing taken care of. All right, guys, so the fix is on and let's go check to see if we have any leaks. I don't think we have any leaks. I think we have this thing pretty well checked out. Let's get this light on. Get this down here. Take a look and see if we have any leaks. I believe we are in the clear. I don't see anything close to the cylinder down there. I think we are in the clear. So this fitting was just a little bit loose. I think that Teflon tape and then one extra spin on it did the trick. So I think we can now officially call this lift installed now that we've got the leak fixed, and I'll feel much more confident using it, running it up and down and everything like that. We've still got some adjustment to do on the equalization cables, but that will come shortly. So I know we were gonna get to the lighting in this episode, but it got a little long just with everything going. So we will get to that in another episode. I hope to actually do a few oil changes coming up here on the lift as well. I gotta get one of those extendable oil catch things now that the car will be up in the air and we don't want it to, the oil to have to travel all the way from the car that's up in the air to the ground. On one of the normal oil catch pails, but that is all right. If you have any questions on the lift or anything like that, please put that down in the comments below. I can't wait to show you the lighting and some of the results we've gotten with this new lighting on the next episode. Thank you so much for watching Detached Garage, and I hope to catch you on the next episode.